So I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And Zach, thank you for getting me on the calendar and getting me all set up and making sure I had what I needed. And Kelly actually helped me out with the handouts you have, and so what we're going to cover here in a few minutes. However, becoming a person of influence is what I gave Zach as the topic about 2 weeks ago. My ADD kicked in. So it's like, okay, yeah, that and something different. So the reason is that becoming a person of influence is a John Maxwell course that we're going to be teaching here in the Market Center. And as I looked at the whole course, I was having trouble pulling pieces out of it. So I pulled this piece out of a different course and said, okay, this is absolutely about becoming a person of influence. Okay, so that's the topic we'll be on today. I had an epiphany though last night. And I said, you know what? I really want to be about you guys. And when I'm with you, I want to learn about you. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to know what's happening, partly because of the law we're going to cover today. And so what I found is I'm not sharing a whole lot about myself because it's not about me, right? And yet I've also seen some things happen where people are like, well, some people in the room are like, you know what, Rick, I thought you were really cool. I had you up on this pedestal. And as I've gotten to know you, the pedestal is smaller. It's like, that's good. That's what it should be, right? That's a really good thing. And then I have somebody else who's not in the room yet, who maybe joined us, and they said, you know what? I didn't think you were real when I first met you. It's like, really? You be like upbeat, positive. It's like, I didn't think you were real. And now that I've gotten to know you, I have a better appreciation for who you are. So it's gone both ways, guys. I mean, it's like, don't think of yourself. I mean, it's like, don't take yourself too seriously. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to just take a few minutes to walk through my story, and I'm going to do that in the way of giving you a couple of lessons out of it, okay, as becoming a person of influence, okay? So the first thing this came from was I was writing a biography for myself to send for an event that I'm going to in November with the John Maxwell team, and I looked at it and said, you know what, I'm not going to do the standard corporate deal. I want to do something a little bit different. So I start out with my I am, and my I am is I'm a husband of 20 years to my wife, Sue. We celebrate our 20th anniversary on July 6th. And it was one of the things I'm going to share with you that as I was reflecting, that really came back to me as to how important that relationship is and how important that decision was for me. So I'm a husband, 20 years with my wonderful wife, Sue, and it's been 18 years I've been pretty good. A couple of years I've really fallen off the wagon. And we've gotten through that. So, those are her words, not mine. So it's been 20 years of that, and that's led to us having a great family. I've got a 15-year-old daughter named Courtney and a 13-year-old daughter named Tori. And they have provided a lot of joy and opportunity for a lot of growth. Right? I was talking to Teresa and Brandy this morning. I was like, okay, yeah, here's what it is now. And Brandy's like, I can help you with that. I'm like, okay, you want to take me to lunch? Okay. So that's a piece of it. The other thing I am, I'm a leader of Keller Williams offices. My title, so to speak, is operating partner, and my job is to support Chris in his role within the offices. And Chris's job is to support the ALC, so the ALC can support the agents in the office. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way that it rolls. And so then I'm also a John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker. So that's just a certification I got here in August, and that's partly the material we're going through today is from that course. Okay, and this is just my next step on my leadership development and my personal development. It's like, what's next? And this is a piece that's come to it. So I use those I ams intentionally because when you're thinking about you and you're introducing you, you know, I am a mom. Sometimes that can say a lot, and yet sometimes there's more to it, right? And I love what Tracy shared. She said, I'm not a good artist, right? And so it's like, be aware both ways. Because sometimes I'm saying I am not on things that I could develop in or be better at, yes? And sometimes like, no, I'm not an artist either, and I might not work on it. Right? That's okay. Just be aware of your I ams. Because I could go into my biography and go, okay, I am this, I am that. And yet what it really is I'm a guy. I mean, I'm working through a lot of the same challenges you are. Okay? You guys a lot of times tell me, you're really busy, can I get a couple minutes of your time? I got 24 hours a day too. I'm no busier than any of you. Does that make sense? Okay? It's just some different responsibilities. So be aware of your I ams. So I met Sue and we got married in 1990. I was working for I went to work for a regional mortgage bank in 93. I got into the mortgage business right at the end of the lowest period of interest rates in history at the time, right? Because it was like, oh good, that was a good call to get into mortgages right then. However, there were circumstances with my previous company that I had to make a choice. Like, they weren't paying me anymore. So this was really cool because my wife graduated from law school in that year. She took the bar and passed in November, and there's no jobs in the legal profession in Sacramento. So I didn't have a job, then I got into a commission job. And she was working contract work, right? So I had a conversation with her dad at borrowing some money. I don't remember the exact amount. It seemed like it was $1 million. It was probably $2,500. However, that was one of the two most difficult conversations I've ever had with him. The first one was, I married your daughter. A whole other story on that. So I got in the mortgage business in '93 with Commerce Security Bank. It was a regional bank at the time. Then went to Norwest Mortgage, and they merged with Wells Fargo Mortgage in '98. And I was a branch manager for Wells Fargo. We had about 26 loan officers, and I had a whole bunch of processors who did all the work. So that was my mortgage. I had 7.5 years in the mortgage side of the game. So it helps me when I'm sitting down with our mortgage folks to help understand how we can serve better. Okay? So I leverage that piece. The thing I want you to think about though is in November, it was actually October 28th of 1993, I was at lunch with Drew Collins. And he said, I think I have an opportunity for you. Before we finished the lunch, I said I want it. It was commission, right? Of course, I wasn't getting paid anyway, so it was a pretty easy choice. However, that was one of those decisions. So the third decision I want to talk to you about is, was at Commerce for a while, went into residential real estate with my dad's brokerage in 2000. And 2003, the Red Book came out. I read the Red Book. I was listening to conference calls. I sat down with Don Yoakum in a Starbucks in Folsom. We had 20 minutes, and in that time, I decided I wanted to become a fellow witness. So I share those three major decisions with you because there's a commonality between them. The three being my wife, being Commerce Security Bank with Drew Collins, and being Keller Williams with Don Yoakum. The first one led to an amazing marriage of 20 years and just a great relationship that continues to develop. The second was my step into management. Now, I didn't start as a manager at Commerce Security, however, that was a path into it for me. And the third was Keller Williams. That was a leadership step for me. That's where I truly became a leader or started developing my leadership skills as opposed to management. Okay? Those three decisions, there's a common thread for them for me, where I can look back at those and say, those are great decisions, and here's where I was when I made them. Okay? My encouragement to you is reflect on what you have going on. Reflect on your life. Because as I'm becoming certified in the John Maxwell program, there's a lot of talk about reflection. At the end of the day, what do we do? At the end of the week, what do we do? At the end of the month, what do we do? What are we doing going forward? What's going to be different for us next month? Okay? So this reflection piece is important, and that's where I got those three decisions. I said, you know what? Those are key for me. I think I just made a fourth one with becoming certified with the John Maxwell program. I don't have the results to prove it yet. However, that was made like that. I had the opportunity, came, feels right, things are lining up, I'm doing it. It's already proven to be one of the best investments I've ever made from a financial standpoint and from a time standpoint. I believe it's going to pay off in one of those, that'll be my fourth most impactful decision I made in my life. Okay? I wouldn't know that had I not taken a little bit of time to step back and reflect. What's going on for me? What's really worked well? And what's the commonality between them? Does that make sense? Okay? So my encouragement to you is be clear on your I am. Who are you? Okay? Sometimes we put ourselves in kind of a small box. Okay? It's like, I'm a realtor. Yeah, okay, great. Yes, that's one piece. What else? Right? One of the things that's really coming out for me is, what are you great at? Be working in your gifted zone. As I'm doing masterminds and developing this curriculum out, I'm really being clear on working in our gifted zones day to day. And I didn't warn her about this, so I'm going to point out right now, and she's going to love it. However, Haley is doing a great job in her role, and Jeff just raves about her all the time. It's like she just nails it. She's just on it, right? And it's not her long-term gift zone. However, the piece that she's doing right here, right now for her is absolutely in her gift zone. Okay? Now, interesting thing. Sorry, Haley.
Tutoring too. So. tutoring.
She's tutoring, yeah. So that's probably even closer in your your strength zone. Now she's going to medical school, right? That's going to be her giftedness. She's just using some of the skills she's going to have there. She's learning them here. She's developing them here, and she's going to go out and have a great impact on the world. Does that make sense? Because she's going to be working in her strength zone. She's developing it now and going there. Okay. Thank you.